On today's show.
Yay.
LeBron's killer Game 5 leaves the Cavs one win away from the conference finals.
Houston takes care of business at home, but was it fool's gold? Will the Clip finish him off back in LA?
And in Mailbox, we debate who should be the next coach of the Pelicans.
It's Wednesday, May 13th. The starter starts now.
Good evening, sweet world, and welcome to another playoff edition of The Starters. Whether you're joining us online, on the podcast, on YouTube, or on NBA TV, we're very happy to have you. I'm J.E. Skeets, and alongside me, as always, Tess Mellis.
Yay.
To my right, Starters blog editor Trey Kirby.
Hey!
Hey! And finally, the international man of mystery taking it to the max, Lee Ellis.
Amigos.
Lele.
Lily. All right, on tonight's show, the Rockets stay alive. We'll get to that series, and we'll open up the mailbox and talk about the now vacant head coaching position with the Pelicans. But first, we start in Cleveland. Yay. LeBron James had one of those LeBron games. Kyrie added 25. Cavs held off Chicago's late charge. I mean, they made this a game. They get the win, 106-101, and take the very important, as we know, 3-2 series lead.
Is LeBron the king of Game 5s? Because it sure feels that way.
Yes, probably.
Yeah, series is tied up. This man takes control. You know, we call him the best basketball player in the world, and it's nice when he just proves us right. Everything you need to do in a basketball game, this man did it, including be efficient and just go after it. Because he only held the ball in 2 seconds or less on 10 of his shots in the first half, just going after it. While he was holding the ball a lot more the first 4 games, did it on the defensive end, did it everywhere. He was the best player in the game. That's all they really needed on this night.
The thing I love about LeBron is, you know, in a big game, he's going to play the way everybody says he should always play, go get in the post, and he knows that that's the way he should play too. So he goes down there, he kills for a half. Second half, the Bulls came back because, honestly, LeBron started ISOing a little bit more.
Yeah.
But that first half, he set the tone, said, we're going to win this game, and basically he did.
Yeah, with Tess, we've been doing some form of this show for almost 10 years now. We've done over 1,000 shows. And we've seen a lot of these, a fair share of these LeBron Game 5s, or obviously these huge games in the playoffs. And they're always a difficult next day after show to sort of talk about.
Right.
Because sort of like you just said, it's like, yep, LeBron just proved he's the best basketball player in the world. Moving on. I mean, really, what is there to say? He did exactly what Trey said. He did what you expect him to do.
Yeah, it wasn't quite that Boston Celtics Game 6 a couple of years ago, but it wasn't far off either because he just dominated at both ends of the floor. And you know that when he switched on and focused like that, it is almost impossible to see any team really beating the Cavs in one game like that.
What's really impressive, too, don't forget, is that he's doing all of this being guarded by one of the better defensive players in the league with Jimmy Butler.
And he put him in foul trouble right away because he was aggressive.
Right. He's doing it against one of the better defensive teams in the league, in the Chicago Bulls, and of course one of the best defensive coaches in the league, Tom Thibodeau. That's I mean, you add that to the mix here in a very important must-win Game 5. It's pretty tremendous stuff.
And it's not just that one end, obviously, because on the other end, he was blocking shots.
Yeah.
He wasn't getting into foul trouble himself, only one foul in this game. And he was forcing guys to shoot from way out. Average distance of the guys that James was guarding was 22 feet, their shot attempts. Thanks, ESPN, for that stat. He was just on fire. And it was just, it's always just fun. You just kind of sit back and just enjoy 4 quarters of Bron going at it. Although he did taper off a little bit in the second half where he held on to it a little bit too long. It's always nice to ridicule something that LeBron did on the night that he was a god.
Yeah, he did it without wearing a headband.
Right.
But he still didn't turn it over.
He had a good lather going.
He still didn't turn it over, even though he was getting a little bit heavy in the legs. And, you know, sometimes your stamina can affect that part of your game, but for him, it doesn't. He still knows he has to stay focused. And that's what's great about it. That's what's amazing about it.
Yeah, 0 turnovers.
Yeah. LeBron, huge, you said it there in the first half, sort of tapered off a little bit as it went in the second half. The vice versa, or the flip, I guess, of that was Derrick Rose, who was extremely hot early in this game. And then whether or not it was the shoulder injury that he suffered later, went ice cold.
That's all it was to me. I mean, that's kind of the sour note of this game is that you've got Derrick Rose on fire in the first half, being Derrick Rose, and then in the second half, couldn't find the bucket whatsoever. 0 for 8 after that injury and 7 of 16 before that injury.
Yeah, and he was kind of flexing that hand and shaking it and just looked off for the entire second half.
He did.
You have to think that between the little shoulder stinger he had at the end of Game 4 and the way he was playing during the second half of this game after he re-injured it, however it was, maybe he didn't have the right grip on the ball, maybe his hand just fell off. You could tell that something was definitely
Yeah, he was
different.
definitely doing this
all
a lot.
the time,
every single play it felt like, sort of shaking it. LeBron, great, though, back to the Cavs. You know, he got help, though. It wasn't, LeBron was huge.
No.
The stat line, amazing, defense, offense, but he got help in this one, especially when the Bulls were starting to make it a game there, and be it Shump or Kyrie, they stepped up in that third quarter.
Yeah, I love when they went to the small ball lineup because out of the half, Bulls were down 10, but they came out in the third against the traditional lineup, cut it down to 4. Then we went with LeBron at the 4 spot. You can't do that all the time, but this is one team that can get away with just playing iso ball, and that's what the Cavs did. JR, Iman Shumpert, 2 guys they got for nothing, which is incredible. Kyrie Irving with a fantastic game considering all the injuries pouring in 25. And LeBron, you have 4 guys. It's just fun to watch because we all ridicule isolation basketball. But in this instance, it was totally fine. They brought the lead back. It would have been a huge lead if Nikola Mirotic also didn't just find one in his beard there at the end of the third quarter.
Right, yeah.
But they went up huge into the fourth cube because they are so talented. I mean, this is considering Kyrie's hurt and no Kevin Love, obviously no Powell on the other side, and Derek sort of got injured. But this team is just so good, and it's fun to watch isolation basketball every once in a while too.
Yeah, the playoffs have become, I mean, a game of survival. It feels like with all of these injuries. How impressed are you with Kyrie Irving and what he's doing again with the tendonitis and the other banged up little injuries that he's been suffering here?
You know, it was brought up a couple of games ago how he didn't get any assists, but he's not that type of point guard. And for LeBron to have him out there, how he can throw the ball too, and he can shoot and make shots for himself and create for himself is such a bonus for him. Because LeBron is, you know, we know he can create for other players, but Kyrie's got those incredible handles. He knows how to penetrate. He's got this step back as well, which when he took that shot, it wasn't a great shot, but he knocked it in because he was feeling hot. So LeBron just knows that this is what attracted him to play with Kyrie Irving. He's a fantastic player. He's very unselfish, but he can be selfish in a good way for his team as well by going out there and getting his shots. I think he's been fantastic, especially considering he's noticeably injured as well.
All right, let's get to what everyone is talking about today, and that is the altercation between your Australian buddy there, Matthew Dellavedova with the Cavs, and Taj Gibson with the Bulls, who got ejected because of this little dust-up. I want to get everyone's take on this, on whether you think the ejection was warranted. But just to set the scene here, you know, the Cavs up around 10 there, early in the fourth quarter. He pushes Dellavedova, Gibson does in the back. He falls down. They're battling for a rebound. And then while on the ground, Delly locks up Gibson's legs like he's Ric Flair, tries to put him in a figure 4 lock, and when Gibson, frustrated with this, now there's the clamp right there, get off,
doing a push-up,
and gives him, in my opinion, a very light kick.
Yeah.
They look at it, he's assessed a flagrant foul two, which means, you know, automatic ejection, and there he goes. And, you know, look, people throwing stuff, don't be ridiculous, this is insane. But what do you think? Was that ejection warranted?
I think the C-Web hit the nail on the head while watching this game. We tell guys, be aggressive, be aggressive. Then all of a sudden, you get your leg locked and you can't remove your leg from it. I mean, that's all he did. I didn't think it was a kick whatsoever.
No. Yeah, I thought Weber was absolutely right. You can't leg lock a man. People don't like to be leg locked. I thought this was a classic double technical sort of scenario because Dellavedova definitely did something. Taj Gibson definitely did something. Call it even and go on and play.
Yeah, and we should point out, there was a build-up to this. There really was. You know, a little bit earlier, Gibson sort of ran over, trucked over Delly. I mean, he's given up a lot of size. You're going to see it here. There's sort of Delly goes flying there. And then he got him a little bit later with, you know, in sort of a pick and roll situation, popped him a little high, and then they battled under the rim. But I'm with you guys. Like, to me, it didn't feel like it warranted an ejection because he was sort of like when the guys get together in any sort of scrum and they push each other. You're usually okay if you push each other. When you're throwing punches and haymakers, that's when you're going to get tossed. But how's that any different with the kick? I mean, he's not winding up and hoofing him.
No, you're right. No, I think the referees overreacted, but I think perhaps they took into account the previous incident where sort of Gibson.
So the previous incidents where they missed.
Well,
they didn't call anything on
possibly.
Any of those?
Yeah, I think when they.
In the bud.
I'm just saying when they look back at it, they maybe think, okay, this was going to escalate even further. We're going to get rid of Taj Gibson now. I think he was unlucky though.
Are you sticking up for your Australian buddy here? Because this is, I have to bring this up. Is this an Australian thing, locking people up?
Well, sometimes.
With your legs? Because you do it a lot, we noticed.
What are you talking about?
Well, you do it on everyone. Around the office. There he is.
Oh, well, yeah, look, it's the classic. It's the old
Maryborough. We're out on the court, you know, look,
You're a dirty player.
It's the Maryborough leg lock. It's a classic school ground maneuver.
What does it mean?
Well, you don't want to let someone get away, so you have to lock them up.
Oh, it's a sign of affection.
Yeah, sort of. Yeah.
Delly didn't want Gibson to leave.
Look, I mean, you know, our legs got tangled. It happens in the workplace as
Isn't
well.
that Australian rules position, the leg locker?
That man did not want to be seen.
Yeah, well, sometimes we just do it to each other, you know.
It's very interesting.
Lock it up.
Hey, you Aussies, I knew you were weird.
You didn't kick me out of the show today.
Yeah, exactly. All right, gotta take a break. When we come back, The Rockets, they actually tried last night. Houston extends their series with the Clips. We'll discuss that and a whole lot more. You're watching The Starters. Welcome back to The Starters. James Harden and the Rockets aren't ready to stop playing ball. Harden's first career postseason triple-double was a little too much for Chris Paul and Blake Griffin as the Rockets force a Game 6. We'll get to that later this week. Rockets, they want to play, Tass.
Yeah, Reggie Miller on the call in this one, put up his keys to the game. They were simple, people mocking it on Twitter, but listen, these guys lost the last 2 games by an average of 29 points. There's no simple X and O for them to make up and for them to win and work on. No, they had to be very, very simple. Bring the fight for an entire game. Be you, bring that up-tempo team, and that's what they were. They won the fast breaks. They won the points in the paint. That's all they needed, and after the game, head coach Kevin McHale had the same thought we've all had this entire series.
Tonight was the first time I saw a team out there downhill, attacking, going at them. You know, kind of waiting for that team to show up for a while, and but that's how we have to play. And we have to get points in the paint. We have to be downhill. We have to be getting to the line. We have to be offensive rebounding. That's the strengths of our team.
We have all been waiting for that team.
Absolutely.
They showed up in Game 5.
Yeah.
When there's no pressure, and I think that's a big part of it. This team is just not mentally focused enough. No pressure. No one expects them to win this series anymore, down 3-1, now down 3-2. And I think that's why we saw their best game.
They were helped out a little bit, too, with DeAndre Jordan picking up some fouls in terms of being aggressive and attacking, because DeAndre picked up some quick ones early, had to go to the bench, came back there even early in the second with 2, and picked up another one early. He didn't play a whole lot of minutes in the first half, and the Rockets took advantage of that.
If there was one specific key to the game, it's getting DeAndre in trouble, because you show the thinness of the Clips if you get him on the bench.
And to add to that, Dwight Howard picked up a foul in, I think, the first 24 seconds, but that was the only one he picked up in the first quarter. He played smarter because Dwight Howard sometimes has a tendency, even when he picks up that first foul, to still throw his hands in, get an easy, cheap foul after that. He didn't do that, so he was more focused as well.
Here's Doc Rivers on DeAndre Jordan getting into foul trouble. Quote, the reason DeAndre was in foul trouble was because they were in the paint all game, and a lot of that wasn't his fault. He was just trying to cover up for a lot of our mistakes. So to me, we did a poor job of protecting DeAndre. He protects us all the time. We didn't protect him at all. We have to be better. I think that's an interesting point there. You saw the fouls, a couple of them were just because either James Harden, especially in that second one, just blew by his guy on the perimeter, and there's DeAndre trying to challenge the shot and picks up that quick second one.
And you would have thought this would kind of be the Rockets' strategy the entire scenario, or the entire series. Like Tass said, that's their one big guy, DeAndre Jordan is. If you get him out, you're dealing with Spencer Hawes and Big Baby, and that's kind of a win if you're the Rockets. But finally, James Harden was attacking, and I think that that's a huge change in this game and a big reason why that the Clippers were able to drop a game on the road.
Yeah, you just wonder, though, like when Kevin McHale said he's talking about the effort, some of the questions have to go to Kevin McHale and say, well, why was your team really not trying for those first 4 games? I mean, they just didn't put in, you mentioned, Tass, they got killed on the road.
Yeah.
It's okay to lose 1 game on the road badly, but to lose 2 back-to-back like that, that's
around 30-point losses.
Yeah, and now they've got to go to keep their season alive, they have to go and somehow overcome that and win again, and then come back to Houston and perhaps win 7th. It's very unlikely to happen, but at least the Rockets finally put up some sort of fight.
It was. I mean, again, you're right. People on Twitter saying, look at Reggie's keys there. Play hard, play tough, play smart, whatever. But it's true. They had to do that, and they did, and the results warranted it. But there was one little X and an O move that Kevin McHale made, and that was putting Josh Smith into the starting lineup. Do you think that had really any impact on this game, or was it sort of back to just playing harder and attacking?
I mean, the Rockets smacked around the Clips, and with such a monstrous win, I don't think a Josh Smith X and O sort of type move really factored in to the W whatsoever.
It's more that they were just sort of desperate, I think. He just had to try something, so he threw him out there. It'll be interesting to see if he sticks with that for Game 6. I think he will, because I think I think Josh Smith defends Blake better than Terrence Jones does. But then again, Terrence Jones is probably a better shooter than Josh Smith, so he probably gives a little bit back on offense.
Yeah, and in this game, we should point out, like, Blake Griffin and Chris Paul, they had good games. Great games. 52, I think, of the 103 points that the Clippers ended up putting up. And we saw, James Harden had the triple-double. Dwight Howard was a beast early and had a great line. It came down to those role players. We just showed you the Rockets guys chipping in, be it Ariza, Jason Terry. They were hitting threes. Capella played well. On the other side, it was the Clippers guys, those secondary guys. DeAndre got in foul trouble, so forget him, but Redick couldn't shoot the ball. Crawford couldn't shoot the ball. I mean, you wonder a little bit with the Clips, were they expecting the Rockets to just sort of roll over and die and go golfing?
Well, there's a couple of different ways you can beat the Clippers. You can either try and totally take away Blake Griffin and Chris Paul, which good luck, or you can let them get their points and defend the other guys, and I think that's exactly what happened. I think the Clippers, like you're saying, were just a little not caring too much about Game 5, knowing they got Game 6 back at home, but it was a poor performance by their role players, and if that happens again in Game 6, then the Rockets can steal another one, and who knows what happens in a Game 7.
Especially with DeAndre on the bench. We've seen, throughout the Spurs series, the big three really perform, and then these guys are a small sort of difference in the game. But when you get DeAndre off the floor, I mean, that is the key for the Houston Rockets.
Tuesday was the third time in the Clippers franchise history that they had a series clinching opportunity to advance to the conference finals, and it's the third time that they got blown out big. They've never made it to the conference finals, and we're talking even back when they were in Buffalo. So, I mean, there it is. They've lost by 21 there last night in a possibility game where they could go to the conference finals. Back to the Suns, you might remember in 06, lost by 20, and again, in 75, they lost to the Bullets by 19. And this is a team, again, especially with Chris Paul being a little hobbled, they want to take care of business and get into that next round and rest a little bit.
Oh, yeah, they don't want to have to win in Houston to advance.
Oh, no, yeah, so Game 6, you think, they've circled that. We got to take care of business right there.
Thursday night, sealing it.
There you go. All right, got to take a break. When we come back, who should coach the Pelicans? We'll answer that and more when we open up the starters mailbox.
Mail. We got mail.
Woohoo! Yes, into the starters mailbox. First question coming from Lenny. Lenny writes, as of writing this, the Pelicans haven't announced who will replace Coach Monty Williams, but to paraphrase the great Garth Brooks, I say let the speculation begin. Guys, who do you like to take AD and those Pellies to the next level? Cheers.
Monty Williams, first of all, will get another chance. He's obviously a very young guy. He got his job at 38, now 43. So he's going to make a very good head coach. Obviously, being hired that young, maybe made some mistakes. Hopefully we'll learn from that. And in the meantime, if he wants to come work for NBA TV, he's welcome to do so. I don't do the hiring around here, but I think he would be great. He's great on the microphone. He would be fantastic. Although his team needed to pick up on the defensive end. So would you go towards a defensive coach first and foremost? That's what a lot of people are talking about. But with this offense, anyone would probably do a great job on that side of the ball with Anthony Davis there.
And if you're thinking of a defensive-minded coach, a name at the top of most people's lists, who's still coaching, in fact, we just talked about him earlier in the show, Tom Thibodeau with the Bulls, because they think that they're going to part ways and that he, of course, being one of the better defensive-minded coaches in the league, would be a great fit.
Yeah, and I think he's a pretty good fit, too. He's got a little bit of history with Anthony Davis from coaching Team USA, and back then they used a scheme that the Bulls used where they drop the big guy off the pick and roll, let him stay near the rim. That's why Pau Gasol has so many blocks this year. That's why Joakim Noah won Defensive Player of the Year. You think about the different kind of athlete that Anthony Davis is compared to Joakim Noah. He could be like a crazy version of Noah, because if you have a defensive player that good, you have to have a top 10 defense. It doesn't make sense that you don't. And that's why, to me, Tom Thibodeau seems like the right guy, though he is still coaching my favorite team in the league.
Yeah, that's true.
Alvin Gentry's had a great season as an assistant in Golden State. He's also been a head coach in this league before, and I think he is someone who's going to be in hot demand, and I think he probably would be a good sort of coach as well for Anthony Davis. I mean, when you've got a talent like Anthony Davis, you just have to plonk him out there and build around him at both ends of the floor. I think he had a good success with the Phoenix Suns, nearly made it to the NBA Finals in 2010, and now, as we've seen this season with Golden State Warriors, he's had a huge impact on what they've done, so I think he could be a good fit for them.
Why not both?
Why not both?
Gentry, the offensive guru, Thibodeau, defensive genius.
Yeah.
Get him a couple headsets.
Co-head coaches. I say why not? Now is the time. But yeah, I think both of those guys top of the list. Mike D'Antoni a little bit in the Alvin Gentry mix. There's not many openings available right now, right? And this would be, I would think, you can tell me if I'm wrong, this is the most
appealing
opening gig. You got Denver, Orlando, and then now New Orleans.
Especially in a market where don't have a ton of media around you. Coaches, some are good at it, some are bad at it.
Sure.
But you don't have to deal with it as much in New Orleans. I mean, this is just a plum job.
Let's hear what people think. Who do you like to coach the Pelicans next? Let us know on Twitter. All right, next question here. It's actually a handwritten letter from Tom. Look, I'm not kidding. Tom literally wrote, Dear Starters, the 76ers unveiled a new Ben Franklin secondary logo today, and it is incredible. What are your favorite NBA logos, past or present? Sincerely, Tom. We showed you this yesterday. The Sixers unveiling a couple new logos. The secondary one here, the Ball and Ben Franklin.
Ball and Ben.
Yeah, was a favorite for a lot of people, so there it is again. But let's sort of keep this to the past, I guess. Are there any favorite logos that jump out to you?
Let's go way back since Tom wrote a letter. Let's go to the 70s or 80s. This beautiful Pacers logo. No, that's not a tennis ball.
Yeah, that is a tennis ball.
It
That's
could be.
Kawhi Leonard's hand on it, I think.
They kept it simple. Hand and ball, it's all you need. Throw a P back. I think it's beautiful.
What do you got, Trey?
Well, I got to give a shout out to the Bulls, the only team in the league that hasn't ever changed their logo. That was from their first season in 1966, and they're still using it, and it still looks awesome. A perfect logo, but if we're talking about old-timey, I really like the old Dallas Mavericks logo with the little hat on the M. It's just so Texas to me. The old Mavericks colors I like better than the new ones. That's a classic.
Lee?
Sticking with the old school stuff, I'm going with the Seattle Supersonics. I just love the colors on this. I love the skyline. I just love how it's half a basketball. And also love just how it's Supersonics at the bottom there. Rest in peace, Sonics.
I'm going with a team that just got a new logo, but I'm going with their old one. I just love a dainty Milwaukee Buck.
So good.
You know, because a lot of the logos there, everyone thinks aggressive and menacing.
Yeah.
Look how dainty and polite this Buck is. And showing off its Harlem Globetrotter skills.
Would you like a basketball?
Exactly. It's a great logo. All right, let's hear from you guys on that one. We're going to take one more break, but when we return, Lee wraps his legs around a very solid play. Come on back. Back with the starters, Lee, where are we going for your very solid play tonight?
We're going to Cleveland for this beautiful inbounds play. Now, I like it as well because there's no dribbles, but there's 2 bounce passes, and it leads to a wide open Jimmy Butler three-pointer. That's beautiful execution. Key moment of the game, too. Joe No's involved, Kirk Hine, Jim Butts, free ball. That's what I call a very solid play.
You're weird.
Yeah, you're just an odd guy.
It was a good play. I'll give you
Let's
that.
just be honest. He's odd. He's weird. We love him. Tonight's NBA schedule: 2 huge Game 5s, Wizards and Hawks. That gets started at 8 p.m. Eastern on TNT, followed by the Grizzlies and Warriors. Both those series tied at 2 games apiece. John Wall, by the way, for the Wizards Hawks, still game time decision with the 5 fractures there in the wrist and hand, so he's a possibility. As for the Grizzlies Warriors, just finding out that Tony Allen is also a game time decision with a sore hamstring, which was very interesting because we were talking after Game 4 and how the Warriors played him with Bogut sort of playing him and just roaming around in the paint and just leaving Tony Allen wide open. If he doesn't play, that obviously changes things for who the Grizzlies roll out there, probably Jeff Green. So keep your eye on NBA.com for updates on John Wall and Tony Allen.
I really hope he plays and the Grizzlies get back to their identity. You can't change your identity at 2-2 in the second round. They got to get back to who they are, who they know they are, and fight, fight, fight!
All right. We'll be back tomorrow. Join us here at the desk, breaking down those games and a whole lot more.
Thanks for joining us, folks. And remember, Australians love locking legs down under.
Embrace those.
Come here.
Embrace those legs, people.